As I told you that we are going to cover solution, architect, associate, and professional as well. Associate and professional as well. Apart from this, we have architect level, solution architect. Solution architect, you can't able to learn without having real-time experience on AWS. Yes, Ratan. If you have 4 to 5 years, more than 5 years experience in AWS, then you can write the certification for architect. Designer required more than 4 to 5 years experience. So this is the solution architect, associate level and professional level. So initially we are going to discuss about what are the types of models: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. Every company, they have their own public cloud and private cloud. Example for private cloud. There are some application database servers. They are not going to host their servers on public cloud. For example, you take banking sectors. All the banking applications are hosted on private cloud. The reason is the valuable data, important data, is not possible to keep in public cloud. No security for the data. So all the banking applications are hosted on private cloud. Every MNC company, they have clients. The clients are banks. Every company have clients for banks. So these banking applications are running on private cloud, not in the public cloud. Public cloud are AWS, Amazon Web Services, Azure Cloud, GCP, all these are public cloud. In any MNC companies, some applications are running on private cloud, some applications are running on public cloud. What is private, what is public, discuss later. Hybrid cloud, the combination of private and public, we call it as a hybrid. And we are going to discuss about service deployment models. Here stands in infrastructure as a service. There are 5 service deployment models. Here stands internet infrastructure as a service. PaaS stands platform as a service. CaaS, container as a service. SaaS, software as a service. PaaS, functionality as a service. Finally, in AWS, everything is a service. Generally, if it is a keyboard, mouse, monitor, hard drive, these are called physical devices. But in AWS or any cloud computing, there is no physical device. Everything is a service. Keyboard is a service. Server is a service. Everything is a service. So we can say that anything is a service. So all are services. In cloud, all are services. So we are going to discuss the services like the first one is EC2. EC2 stands Elastic Cloud Computing. EC2 stands Elastic Cloud Computing. Here we are going to discuss what are the compute capacity. I think in the first class itself, I told you that what is the meaning of compute capacity? What is the meaning of compute capacity? Like my laptop compute capacity is 16 GB RAM, 1 CPU. That is called compute capacity. I purchased one server with 4 lakhs. The compute capacity is 4 CPUs. 4 CPUs with 64 GB RAM. This is called compute capacity. The real servers runs on more than 1 CPU. All these are multi-system boards. Multi-system boards means more than one processor, more than one motherboard, more than one SMPS, more than one network card. These are called multi-system ports. The server in AWS we call as an instance. Don't get confused. Instance or server, both are same. What are the types of instances? Spot instances, reserved instance, capacity reservation, on-demand instance. Throughout the AWS classes, we are going to discuss on-demand instances. These instances are free of cost. Spot instance, reserved instance, capacity reservation, these are not free of cost. How much they charge we discuss in AWS. And types of instances we have. Memory optimized.
Your voice is breaking too.
Voice is breaking. Instance types. Memory optimized. Memory optimized means those instances having more memory like 1 TB RAM or 128 GB RAM. That is called memory optimized. Contains more memory. Compute optimized. Compute instances. These are called having more number of CPUs. These instances having more number of CPUs. General purpose. Throughout the course, we are going to discuss about general purpose instances. I told you that instance is a server. Gravity instances, accelerated instances, this is for machine learning. All these are types of instances in EC2. Amazon machine image. Generally, in the real time, I think all of you are aware of virtualization. AMS stands Amazon Machine Instance. What is this? Initially, we'll take one server with compute capacity, the required compute capacity, let us say 30 GB RAM, 4 CPUs. This is the server, we also call instance. This is my hardware. On top of that, we install operating system, either Linux or Windows. On top of that operating system, we are going to install the database. On top of the database, we are going to install the application. So my server is ready. Once the setup is done, we are going to create AMI for this. AMI stands Amazon Machine Instance. It's a copy of the server. It's a duplicate copy of the server. We also call it the clone. Clone means copy. So that tomorrow something happened to this server is crashed. Exact copy of under server here, I can restore it. No data loss. So we are going to get multiple copies of the server. It's exact copy of the original server. If something goes wrong, the server is crashed, you have a backup, I can restore it. That is called Amazon machine image. Copying the AMI from one region to another region. If you go for AWS, there are so many regions are available. There are so many regions are available. These regions nothing but the regions nothing but geographical location. Regions are geographical location. So currently I am in the Mumbai region. This is the Mumbai region. This is the region code. North Virginia, US East 1. Ohio, US East 2. All these are regions. Regions, nothing but the geographical location. In Mumbai, for India, we have a AWS data center in Mumbai location. AP South 1. AP stands Asia Pacific. So these are called regions. In every region, there are 1 or 2 data centers, minimum 2 data centers. I told you what is data center. Data center is a place where all the servers, infrastructure like servers, storages, switches, routers, all the infrastructure in the data center. In every region, we have minimum 2 data centers. What are this data center? What are this region? We have separate class on that. We'll discuss later. So we can copy the AMI from one region to another region. We can migrate this AMI from one user account to another user account. Security groups. Security groups are nothing but a virtual firewall. Security groups are nothing but virtual firewall. As a Linux administrator, if you are Linux administrator on Linux server, you need to configure firewall. We have a firewall called IP tables. IP tables, IP6 tables, these are called firewalls. There are 2 types of firewalls, hardware firewall, software firewall. Cisco routers are the hardware firewall. IP tables, IP6 tables, these are called software firewall. If you install Windows operating system by default, a software firewall by default install. If you install Linux operating system, software firewall by default install. That is called IP tables. In firewall, what we are going to set up, which network to allow, which network to deny, which ports to allow, which port numbers are denied. That is called as a firewall. As a Linux administrator, you need to understand how to set up this firewall, how to configure firewall, which is not required in a cloud because everything is a graphical mode. No commands are required. That firewall we call it as a security group, which is called virtual firewall. So types of firewalls we have: ingress firewall, egress firewall. Why security groups are? Why we call security group? In security group we have 2 types: stateful and stateless. What is stateful firewall? What is stateless firewall? And what are the limitations of security group? And difference between the TCP and UDP. OSA layers. There are nearly 7 OSA layers we discussed last class. We discussed only 3: presentation layer, application layer, data link layer. Apart from that, there are so many other layers that also we discuss. Load balancer. Load balancer, one of the feature in AWS. You want to see that? Go to command prompt, Windows command prompt. type ns lookup, name server lookup, set type is equal to cname, canonical name, www.yahoo.com. What is this www.yahoo.com? It's a web server. Yahoo.com is a web server. Gmail.com is a web server. As I told you in the real time, the web servers are configured more than one. And all these web servers are configured with load balancer. Means what? If one server is busy, the request automatically sent to the other server. So how many here? NS1, NS2, NS3, NS4, NS5. Name server, nothing but DNS server. What is DNS server? How it works, we'll discuss later. So there are 5 DNS servers. If one server is busy, the request sent to the another server. It is not a failover. These are called load balancer. All the servers are active, no passive nodes. All are active nodes. This is called load balancer. Every application in the real time, all the applications will run on load balancer. So application load balancer, network load balancer. What is the meaning of network load balancer? You have a server. With one network card. The laptop desktops maximum we have only one network card. Laptop desktops having only one network card. If this network card is failed, no one can access my application. That's why we are going to add 2 network cards. Both the network card having, they are going to configure IP address for both the network cards. Generally, one network card will have only one IP address. But in this scenario, both the network card having same IP address. Assume that my IP address is public IP. The public IP is 202.141.21.4. The end user from internet is accessing my application, for example, www.wisdom.com. My application from browser, from internet, is trying to access my application, www.wisdom.com. The DNS server, domain naming service, the DNS server is on this host named IP address. What is the IP address for this? 202.141.21.4. Here we have network card 1, network card 2. If this network card 1 is failed, automatically this IP address goes to other network card. This is called as a failover. One network card failed, the other network card will act as an active node. Sorry, active, not a passive. One is active, the other one is passive. If this is failed, this become active. If this is failed, this become active. This is called failover, active passive. Whereas load balancer, both are active. If more than like 1,000 users are accessing application with wisdom.com, they are going to configure with same link. అది కాదు మొన్న వచ్చేది
క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది సిఎంజి ఎక్కడికి పంపిస్తారు ఓకే కాల్ చేశారు క్లాస్ నిన్న క్లాస్ అయింది
So load balancer, if one network card busy, the IP address automatically transferred to the other network card. So this is called network load balancer. Classic load balancer, all this comes under load balancer. If you understand one load balancer, the remaining load balances are same. RDS, relational database service. So we have MySQL, Aurora DB. Aurora DB is the database from, just hold on. జాయిన్ అయ్యాడా రాలేదు
వస్తాడు సార్ ఇప్పుడే మీకు ఓపెన్ చేస్తున్నాను.
ఇవాళ డెమో క్లాసులు ఏంటి రేపు రమ్మని
ఇప్పుడు ఏమన్నా? ఇప్పుడు వచ్చేంత కూడా క్యాన్సల్ అయింది. నిన్న కూడా క్యాన్సల్ అయింది.
నేను జరిగింది సార్ లింక్ సెండ్ చేయడం మర్చిపోయి
వస్తున్నాడు లేదంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి?
So types of database, we have MySQL, Aurora DB. Aurora DB is a database from Amazon. Here we are going to discuss how to create the database, how to back up the database server, how to restore the backup, how to get the snapshot for databases. All this stuff we'll discuss in the RDS. NRDS, non-relational databases, DynamoDB, MongoDB, Cassandra, all this comes under non-relational database. So in AWS, we are going to discuss one relational database, the other one non-relational database. Where we use relational database, where we use non-relational database, we'll discuss later. Scaling mechanism. Yesterday we discussed what is the scaling, vertical scaling, horizontal scaling, step level scaling. All these are scaling mechanisms. AWS backup services. AWS backup services, storage mechanism, EBS, elastic block storage, EFS, elastic file system, S3 storage. All this comes under storage mechanism. If there is no AWS, if there is no AWS cloud, there is a SAN storage, area network attached storage, direct attached storage, shared storage box. Those are on physical data center. There is no cloud, these are the physical data center. But in cloud, we used to call as a EBS volumes, EFS, S3, they are the storage mechanism. What is the storage mechanism? What is the advantage of the storages? We'll discuss later. Identity access management. For example, you want to access any resource, either software resource or a hardware resource, which are called hardware resources. A laptop is a hardware resource. Mobile is a hardware resource. Any software or hardware resources, we need to create the account. A laptop having the account, mobile also we can create the account, password. So without this identity access management, there is no security for the laptop, no security for the desktop, no security for the data. A login as ATM user with ATM card by giving the PIN number, that is called identity access management. Log into the gmail.com, yahoo.com by giving the login name and password, that is called IAM. So without IAM, there is no Windows administration, there is no Linux administration, there is no cloud. IAM is a security for the data. How to assign the roles, how to assign the policies, all this stuff we'll discuss. MFA, multi-factor authentication. In the real time, we are going to set up multi-factor authentication. For example, in your mobile, initially to access your mobile, to log into the mobile, we are going to set one authentication, either thumb or any number or a pattern. That is one authentication. You want to access WhatsApp? Again, we are going to set up another password for that, for password. That is called multi-factor. So we can assign more than one username password. That is called as a multi-factor authentication. Automatic access. This is for programmers. This is for programmers. This is for administrators. Route 53. Route 53 nothing but a DNS, domain naming service. Domain naming service, which we are going to discuss Linux administration. What is DNS? All these are topics, subtopics in the Route 53. Content delivery network, Elastic Kubernetes service, ECR, Elastic Container Repository. Kubernetes is very, very important. It is also there in the DevOps. In DevOps, also we are going to discuss this Kubernetes. We also called as a K8. If anybody asks what is K8, don't say that I don't know. K8 nothing but a Kubernetes. Why K8? There are 8 characters. Lambda very useful for the developers. CF cloud formation, CloudWatch. Apart from that, we are going to cover some topics of AWS DevOps. Those are code commit, code deploy, code pipeline. Here are the few topics of DevOps, which is required for cloud admin. Elastic Beanstalk. So to complete all these topics, I need 35 hours. This is the phase 1. This is the phase 1. There are topics in the phase 1. In phase 2, it is 10 to 12 hours duration. We are going to discuss about VPC. VPC stands Virtual Private Cloud. VPC stands Virtual Private Cloud, which is the hardcore of AWS. Virtual Private Cloud, which is the hardcore of AWS. Which is the hardcore of AWS. In VPC, we are going to discuss about networking concepts. What is class A? What is class B? What is class C? What is the public IP address? What is the private IP address? Where we use public IP? Where we use private IP? What is subnetting? Without that knowledge, you can't understand VPC. If anybody asks why cloud is more secure, why cloud is secure? The reason, only one reason, that is called VPC. Only one reason why cloud is secure, that is called VPC. So to understand VPC, you need to have knowledge on networking. All this networking concept we discussed before we start VPC. What are the types of gateways? Customer gateway, transit gateway, site-to-site gateway, virtual private gateway. All these are subtopics in VPC. KMS, key management services, web access firewall, cloud train. This is to 10 to 12 hours class, 2 weeks duration. So, now with these topics, what you understand? To work on cloud computing, any cloud computing, we need operating system knowledge, we need networking knowledge, we need database knowledge, storage administration, virtualization, security, monitoring. Before cloud, 10, 12 years back, before cloud, we have separate jobs on OS, either Windows admin or Linux admin, separate jobs on networking, CCNA, CCNP, separate jobs on database, MySQL, Oracle database, separate jobs on storage, SAN, NAS, separate jobs on virtualization, VMware virtualization, Citrix virtualization, separate jobs on security, separate jobs on monitoring. It was before cloud, 10 years back. Now you want to learn this AWS, you need to have knowledge on all these technologies. You need to have knowledge on all these technologies, not required. Rather than learning all this technology, you just learn one technology that is called cloud computing, either AWS or Azure or GCP. If you learn AWS or any cloud computing technology, which are going to cover everything. That means what? If you go for physical data center, for every application, I need a one OS admin, one network team, network admin, one database admin, storage admin, virtualization team, security admin, monitoring. For every application, these many people are working for every application. If you go for physical data center, instead of that, if you're using cloud, AWS or Azure, rather than taking these many employees, I'll recruit only one employee that is called AWS cloud admin. This cloud admin can do all this stuff. He can install the operating system, he can configure network, he can install the database, he can configure storage, he can do the virtualization, he can configure security firewall, he can monitor. So one cloud admin can do all these activities. If I ask you that before coming to my AWS class, you learn all these technologies, it will take minimum 6 months to 8 months. And you can't remember all these things. So whenever we are talking that I'm taking the classes cloud, AWS cloud, wherever networking concept comes, I'll cover all the networking. Wherever database comes, I'll cover the database. I'll cover the storage. We are not going to discuss hands-on practice, how to configure SAN, how to configure NAS. We are not going to discuss how to install the database manually, how to create the file system, how to create the users at database level. I have work experience on database, Oracle database. I have work experience on SAN, NAS. We used to set up this manually, which is not required if you learn this AWS. You just understand what is what. Why you have to go for a storage? Why you have to go for database? Why you have to go for networking? Just knowledge is enough. We have nothing to do practically hands-on practice here. Everything is a graphical mode. Everything is a graphical mode. So this is the AWS cloud. EC2, Elastic Cloud Computing. You can see what are the services are in AWS. We click here, we can see nearly 103 services. 103 to 106 services in AWS. All these 106 services not required for cloud. There are some services for machine learning. There are some services for DevOps. So what are the services required for AWS as a cloud admin? We are going to discuss only those services. So everything is graphical mode. You want to shut down the server, we can shut down through graphical. You want to reboot the server, we can reboot. You want to terminate, you can terminate. No commands is required. But as a Linux administrator, if it is physical server, not a cloud, you need to understand how to shut down the server, how to reboot the server. So here we have a launch instance, nothing but a server. What type of instance is required? Take default Amazon Linux. What type of compute capacity is required? This is a free tier, 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. Day before yesterday, I took a server instance with 4 CPUs, 16 GB RAM, and 3 medium. I did not shut down the server for 2 days. I got a bill 1500 for 2 days. So if you take other than this, those are not free of cost. Those are chargeable. But there are some applications while learning this DevOps, for Jira tool, for Jenkins, for Nexus, we require minimum 4 GB RAM. Instead of taking the 4 GB RAM from your laptop or desktop, we are taking from the AWS cloud, which is not free of cost. Once you done the practice, immediately you shut down it. Otherwise, you'll get a bill. So I'm not going to discuss all these parameters. Review your launch. Next launch. You need to understand what is this key pair. I'll explain you later what is this key pair. So create a new key pair name, download key pair. Launch instance. For example, you want to practice Linux basic commands, Linux administration in your laptop. You need to install VMware workstation software to configure a virtual machine. You need to understand what is virtual machine, how to install this VMware software, and how to install Linux on VMware. All this stuff you require. If it is not required, you are taking the Linux server from the cloud. Not required, if I am taking the Linux server from the cloud. You just understand what are this option, how to launch the instance. Now my instance is ready, my server is ready. How to access the server? In the real time, as a Linux administrator or database administrator, they are going to log into the Linux server with a third-party software that is called Putty. When they give the laptop, company laptop, the Putty software already installed. You don't need to install it. What this Putty software will do? You can access this Linux server, the servers on internet with the help of this Putty third-party software. So don't worry, I'll explain this what is this Putty gen, what I'm doing. So open the Putty tool, paste the IP address here, Take the IP address, public IP. Go to SSH. Go to auth. Select browse. Attach the key. Open. Accept. I am logged into the Linux server as a root user. Root is the administrator login name. Root is the administrator login name. So you cannot log in as a root. It's a problem. By default, root logins are denied. Root is administrator login name. No one can log into the server, Linux server, directly as a root user. Root logins from remote systems are by default denied. In that case, I have to first log in as a normal user. That is called EC2-user. You got the dollar prompt. On the dollar prompt, log in as a root user. This is the real time. I'll explain with this. What is this putty? What is this SSH? What is telnet? We have a separate class for that. That's why I told you before we start AWS classes, you need to understand. You need to understand the basic commands, Linux basic commands. And you need to understand what is telnet, what is SSH, what is putty, how to log into the Linux server through putty tool. So this is the real time. I don't know where this Linux server is. Where it is on internet, AWS cloud. Any server you want, if at all you want to access any server on internet, what is required? I need a IP address and credentials, login name and password. With this, we can log into any Linux server on internet. So all this stuff we discuss before I start AWS. I need 1 week to 2 weeks classes to understand the prerequisite.
Hello. Excuse me. Hello. Sound is hello. Hello. We can't hear you properly.
I need 1 to 2 weeks to explain the prerequisite before we start AWS. So directly if we start AWS we can't understand. You don't know what is IP addressing. You don't know how to install operating system. You don't know the basic commands. The basic commands, 1 week of basic commands, 1 week. I'll explain about telnet, SSH, the network, IP addressing, all this stuff. After 1 week to 10 days, we are going to start AWS. So do you require how to install operating system here? No. It's a pre-install. You want to practice Linux. You don't know how to install a Linux operating system in your laptop or desktop. You create an account in AWS, which is free for 1 year, 12 months free. It's a free account. You can launch Linux server. It's a matter of few minutes. It won't take more than 1 minute. You can log into the Linux server. You can practice here itself. Any questions, guys? Am I audible?
Yeah, hi Srinivas, this is Ajesh.
You tell me.
Hello.
You tell me.
Your voice అసలు కంఫర్ట్ గా లేదు ఇలా ఉంటే అసలు మాట అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఫర్ క్లాస్.
All of it is the same problem.
Yeah, sometimes break-in, sometimes bass voice, sometimes a low voice.
Maybe my network is good.
Only for today's restaurant, maybe for yesterday it was very clear.
Okay, only today, right?
Yeah, today.
Okay, tomorrow I should make sure that my network is good before I start the class.
Yeah. Very low voice.
Okay, maybe the network problem. Tomorrow I'll see that before I start the class. I'll see that my
Yeah.
network.
Okay.
So tomorrow is the last class for your demo session.
Okay.
So Monday onwards we are going to start the batch. So Monday onwards we are going to start the Linux fundamentals, Linux basics, which are prerequisite for AWS. Any questions?
Hi sir, this is Murli. So after this course, after this completion of course, can we attend interviews or like that?
Definitely. After completion of this AWS, you can keep 3 to 4 years experience. That much
Okay.
of stuff I'm going to provide you. Nearly we are going to cover 40 services. It is more than enough. I'm going to give the training part. I'm also giving the support for AWS and Advenced. So people are coming to my home. Everyone they're doing a proxy nowadays.
Okay.
They're coming to my home for support. They're taking 2 or 3 months support. AWS and DevOps.
Yeah, full day support under 1 to 2 or 3 hours.
Full day support. Not
Full day support.
Yeah, 8 hours. Not till night 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, morning 9 to evening 6, full day support. I want full day
Full day
support.
support. Yeah, full day support.
Yeah, nice. Okay, then thank you. Hello.
Yeah.
This is Kiran, sir.
You tell me.
If we are going for interviews, they required for certifications of AWS thing.
Here, first thing you need to understand whether you are going with as a fresher or you are going with experience.
Come again. I'm sorry.
Are you applying as a fresher or with experience?
Fresher.
Fresher compulsory requires certification.
So what I can do for certification? Our course is providing any certification.
Yeah, I have some people who are ready the certification on behalf of the student. If you want to get the certification by yourself, you have to practice minimum 6 months. It's very hard.
Oh.
In Hyderabad, some people are doing this. Those contact numbers, just pay the amount 5,000 extra. $150 for the certification.
Your voice is very low, sir.
$150 for the certification. So virtual cost. On top of that, if you pay 5,000, they're going to write the certification behalf of you.
Sir, what are you saying, sir? That all I can't hear proper because of the sound quality is very low.
I'll tell you this tomorrow. I'll make sure that tomorrow my network is.
Yeah, of course, sir.
Any questions? Okay, guys, see you tomorrow, same time.
सर नेटवर्क में प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहेगा उसमें माइक में प्रॉब्लम रहेगा सर
बढ़ेगा। अभी दोपहर पे बैच लिया था, कोई भी ने कंप्लेंट नहीं किया मेरे को।
क्यों हो रहा
मॉर्निंग 7 बजे से मैं बैचेस ले रहा हूँ, अभी तक कोई कंप्लेंट नहीं है। I don't know why this evening problem, 7 o'clock. Okay, tomorrow I'll check my network. Okay. Let's see, I'll change my place, or maybe I'll change this network tomorrow. Okay, anything else? Okay, see you tomorrow, same time. I'll test it first before start the class, whether I'm audible or not. After that, I'll start the class tomorrow. Okay.